is Stan Mlatac, who has 15 years of experience in corporate banking. I'm reading your excellent bio. Wealth management and fintech. You've also, congratulations, completed an executive MBA program from Oxford University. And proving that an MBA will still get you a very cool job. You're now global financial controller at WorldRemit, which I'm sure we all know is the remittances fintech, which has massively brought down the kind of costs of sending money abroad. And has a really interesting founder story. I think you all know with the sort of founder from Somaliland and having to recreate a business.
Yeah, I think it's effectively. I mean, it's a fascinating story. I mean, starting from Somaliland, working from the UN, whistleblower.
Yes.
Getting some money out of that because I understand that there was some problem with. I mean, he had to sue them, kind of.
Yeah.
Taking this money to move to the UK, doing an MBA.
Yeah. Yes, an MBA will get you lots of places.
And finding some people that are keen to invest with him.
Yeah.
And finding as well that there are some issue to send money back to his country.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fascinating, and that's kind of still 10 years after. It's still the DNA of the company.
Yeah, the thing I like about that story is honestly, suing the UN because the UN was supposed to be doing a remittances program, but it turned out that was very corrupt, and then the solution to that was to create, your own business that's going to do it better. So anyway, but tell us a little bit about where WorldRemit is today, 10 years on, because it's expanded massively in this time.
Yeah, it's still surprising every day. So Series D last year, so in June last year, with 175 million coming in, with still the same. The investors that are still here. And I think it's basically kind of an S-curve where basically it's like the foundation are here. We need to make sure that we're going to carry on doing what we do, but slightly better, and making sure that the team, the system, the processes are ready and to support the different other departments and the business to grow and to do at pace. And I think it's a moment as well where we are trying to stop growing incrementally, but like kind of being ready to go not only in one country, but to be ready to go in 5 more countries, these kind of things. I mean, we're already receiving money in 150 countries, so it's still 35 left, but...
Okay, only 35 left to go. And you recently went into China with Alipay, so you've kind of hit the big one now.
Yeah, I mean, China is a pretty interesting market with, I think it's 86% of the population that is actually paying via mobile phone, I mean, with WeChat. So, I mean, being part of that space is, I mean, it's just before Chinese New Year. It was a good moment to announce that.
Yeah. So, so obviously you're under a lot of pressure now to really begin the scale up, because Series D is usually the moment at which, the investors have put the big money in and now they're getting very close to wanting payday, right? So, what are the prospects for this market in general, and then how can you really sort of turbocharge your growth specifically?
Again, I think it's, you see you just mentioned Alipay. I mean, that's kind of a way to carry on growing. It's having partnership. There are partnership, and as well realizing that, one of the space. Africa is carrying on growing massively. People that are not banks, out of the banking system are still there and need to send money overseas. Migrants going to carry on growing, so how to capture all that is to think of technology, to carry on reducing the fees and the friction for the customer. So there is a big partnership in Ghana with MTN so we're using the mobile phone. So I think that's carry on creating, thinking of new partnership and growing at pace.
And specifically on that partnering question, telcos, partners or rivals?
I think there's space for everyone. So I don't see it's a same ecosystem. So at the end of the day, I was going to come to probably another question. I think you might have in mind.
We can skip ahead. That's fine.
but it's how you grow in terms of, I mean, in the value chain, vertically or horizontally. I think at the moment it's basically trying to, I mean, I think we have 6,500 corridors in terms of where to send to, where to receive money. So I think the idea around that is to understand which partner gonna allow us to carry on expanding that. So 50 countries where we are sending money to 150 countries where we are receiving money, but that's just the beginning. After that, it's multiplying the corridors, and that's as well where there's lots of space.
Okay. But what about competition in this space? Because you were telling me earlier when we were talking that there's now a UN recommendation that fees come down in the remittances business in general to, I think you were saying, a maximum of 5%. So will that kind of, and you've always prided yourself as being the sort of the low fee option, but do you foresee a wave of other competitors coming in now?
I mean, back to what I said earlier, I think WorldRemit, I mean, I heard a lot of other comments about creating or saving money and time. The other one that has WorldRemit is value with this DNA that we mentioned. So I think that's where we're gonna carry on. I mean, where we're gonna carry on growing basically. So it's to stick to that and if you take TransferWise as an example, they are, I mean, the typical transaction will be north to north country. I have my flat in New York where I need to pay my mortgage. Where WorldRemit, the average transaction will be around $80 to $100 or pounds, but this kind of range, and sometimes it goes crazy to $500 or $600. Okay. So it's kind of this kind of transaction, which I heard the avoiding problem of money laundering as well. That's kind of, I mean, if you launder $500, it's, I mean, you don't go that far, but so that's the point of where WorldRemit is still, and the real competitor is Western Union. I mean, so I mean that's we're more agile, so that's where. But
you were always able to compete with Western Union quite well because Western Union is really expensive. I mean, they will take a much bigger chunk. But if they're now forced to bring their prices down, do you think they?
It's a recommendation, so they can.
They don't have to.
And that's UN, so it's not enforced.
Yeah, but I mean, have you seen them moving at all? I mean, have they kind of recognized you as a threat, and have they done anything to change their business?
Well, they are trying. I mean, they are moving. The technology is growing as well. They are moving there, but they have this legacy of brick and mortar places that we don't have.
Yeah.
So sometimes it could be good to have that. I'm thinking of Monzo in another space when they started to open to let people get some cash to the post office. I think. I mean, their customer base was increasing massively. So having brick and mortars or partnership again with brick and mortars places could be an advantage. But again, moving to the technology to telco again, and that's where the future is. So, and for them to come back to that system, might take time.
Okay, so do you guys think about a brick and mortar footprint at all, or does?
You can pay cash. You can pay and receive money cash. So it's again via partnership.
Okay. And then, other ways in which you can kind of expand the business. I mean, one way is again, if this is all about very small transactions, do you foresee that you'll move up the kind of the value chain, maybe do some more business to business stuff, and that could be an avenue for expansion?
Yeah. So business to business has been launched in June last year with the series just after the Series D. I think we carry on. For now we are really sticking to trying to do better what we do. Business with business gonna come with scale at some point. I mean, you can start to partner at some point with payroll company. So that's it's just making sure that we carry on doing better and better, and then at some point once you're sure that that's the right alley to go, the right journey to go, that's where you invest. Okay. And you have the network and everything set up for that.
But so it sounds like business to business isn't a key focus then, it's kind of a nice thing.
It's nice to have, but yeah, I mean.
Okay. Then what about other kinds of services for the consumer market? I mean, would you expand to be, offer more banking services, for example?
Coming back to partnership again, sorry.
Okay.
So we have a partnership with MTN is doing as well insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So you can think of microcredits. I mean, it's all of that for now. We are not keeping the money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are just transferring it, but that's where you can transfer it to a microcredit company or this kind of thing. So that's
mm-hmm.
Basically all of these those type of product and partnership.
Yeah. And any interesting trends that you see in terms of, you know, this segment of people that you're kind of giving financial services to, that, you know, this has been the unbanked, you know, that everyone's been talking about, this huge market of people, they're maybe having some of their first experiences with some kind of financial services product with you guys. What do you learn about this market? I mean, what, you know, any behavior patterns, anything that you think other people who are thinking about that space should know?
I think the first things to keep in mind around that is the size of it. I mean, the people that are unbanked, it's a third of the population of the world, 1.7 billion. So I think there is like space for everyone there, and it's I mean, that's why when it's like, are you going to telco? I mean, this is massive, and this is carry on growing, and with Brexit, that has been mentioned already, that's going to carry on encouraging people to move, and that's where remittances will carry on growing as well.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Okay. Well, I think it probably would be interesting to get all three of you now sort of discussing some of the future of this. So thank you very much, Stan, for you know, giving us the WorldRemit story. But okay. And now I guess we